Mr. Hill, what has television given you?
Well, nervous dyspepsia, indigestion, heartburn, all sorts of things like that, you know.
For years, The Benny Hill Show dominated television screens, delighting audiences with its rapid-fire slapstick, risque gags, and that unforgettable theme music. Benny Hill became a comedy legend, his mischievous grin and over-the-top antics earning him fans around the globe. But behind the non-stop laughter and iconic sketches, trouble was quietly brewing. One controversial sketch would soon spark a backlash so intense, it would mark the beginning of the end for the beloved series. What was meant to be comedy gold ignited a cultural firestorm, one that exposed deeper issues and ultimately led to the show's cancellation. Now, we uncover the infamous moment that changed everything and explore the hidden controversy that brought the Benny Hill Show crashing down. The Benny Hill Show entertained millions worldwide from its inception in 1955 until it was taken off the air in 1989. However, one particular scene is often cited as a key factor that contributed to the show's eventual cancellation. While the Benny Hill Show had always pushed the boundaries with its humor, a sketch aired in the late 1980s struck a particularly controversial note. The scene in question featured Hill in a parody of a beauty pageant, where scantily clad women were ogled and objectified. The sketch resulted in a particularly crass and tasteless joke that many viewers and critics found offensive. During this time, public sensibilities and attitudes towards comedy were changing. What was once considered cheeky and harmless fun began to be viewed as outdated and offensive. The infamous sketch catalyzed these critiques, bringing the issue to the forefront of public debate. But how did a comedy program adored by millions meet such a dramatic end? What happened? Before we delve into the controversial scene that changed everything, let's explore the life of the man behind the show. Early life. Alfred Hawthorne Hill, better known by his stage name Benny Hill, was born on January 21, 1924, in Southampton, Hampshire, England. However, there is some ambiguity regarding his birth year, as some sources cite 1925 instead. His family background is quite intriguing, particularly due to the artistic inclinations of his forebears. His father, Alfred Hill, managed a surgical appliance shop. This profession was a departure from the entertainment roots of the family, as his grandfather, Henry Hill, had been a circus clown. The legacy of performance and entertainment influenced Benny Hill's eventual career path. His mother, Helen, was also a significant figure in his early life. Benny Hill attended Taunton School in Southampton. His education there did not immediately lead him into the entertainment industry. Instead, Hill's early career was marked by a variety of jobs, none of which were directly related to show business. He worked at Woolworths, which provided him with his initial work experience. Subsequently, he took on roles that showcased his versatility and ability to adapt to different types of work. He worked as a milkman, a bridge operator, a driver, and even as a drummer. Hill's diverse early job experiences contributed to the range of characters and scenarios he later portrayed in his comedy. His foray into the entertainment industry began when he became an assistant stage manager with a touring revue. This position marked the beginning of his lifelong career in show business. The role of assistant stage manager provided him with valuable insights into the behind-the-scenes workings of theatrical productions, including stage management, timing, and coordination, skills that would prove invaluable in his later television work. In 1942, during the height of World War II, Alfred Hawthorne Hill, better known as Benny Hill, was called up for military service. He trained as a mechanic in the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, a branch of the British Army responsible for the maintenance, repair, and recovery of electrical and mechanical equipment. This technical training provided Hill with skills that were not only practical during the war but also contributed to his resourcefulness and problem-solving abilities in his later career. Hill's military service saw him taking on multiple roles. Initially trained as a mechanic, he also served as a truck driver and searchlight operator. His deployment to Normandy in September 1944 placed him at the heart of one of the most critical phases of the war. The Normandy campaign was pivotal in the Allied liberation of Western Europe from Nazi occupation. Hill's role as a mechanic and truck driver would have involved maintaining and operating vehicles essential for transporting troops and supplies, while his duties as a searchlight operator would have contributed to the defense against enemy air attacks by illuminating targets for anti-aircraft gunners. Before the end of the war, Hill transferred to the Combined Services Entertainment Division. The CSE was responsible for providing entertainment to British and Allied forces, boosting morale through performances by comedians, actors, musicians, and other entertainers. This experience was instrumental in shaping Hill's future career in show business. In the CSE, Hill honed his performance skills, learning to engage and entertain an audience under various conditions. This environment allowed him to experiment with comedy, timing, and delivery, crucial elements that would define his later success on television. Benny Hill was deeply inspired by the star comedians of British music hall shows, a popular form of entertainment in Britain during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Music hall performances typically included a variety of acts such as comedy, song, dance, and magic. The larger-than-life personas and comedic styles of music hall comedians left a lasting impression on Hill. Determined to carve out his niche in the entertainment industry, Hill adopted the stage name Benny as a tribute to his favorite comedian, Jack Benny, an American radio, television, and film actor known for his impeccable comic timing and deadpan delivery. Armed with the inspiration from music hall comedians and the practical experience gained from his time in the CSE, Hill set out to make his mark in show business. Early career Benny Hill's first major break came through radio, a dominant entertainment medium of the era. He made his debut on the popular radio program Variety Bandbox on October 5, 1947. The show was a well-regarded platform for comedy and musical acts, and Hill's inclusion marked a turning point in his budding career. His sharp wit and adaptable comedic timing quickly won over listeners, setting the stage for his rise in the entertainment world. Hill's achievements in radio soon opened the door to television, which was rapidly gaining popularity and cultural influence. In 1950, he made his first appearance on TV. The addition of a visual component gave Hill new creative freedom, enabling him to introduce physical comedy and visual gags that would become trademarks of his style. These early television roles laid the groundwork for a prolific and enduring career in the medium. In 1962, Hill starred in a sitcom anthology titled Benny Hill, which ran until 1963. In this series, he portrayed a different character in each episode, demonstrating his impressive range and comedic flexibility. The show's unique format allowed Hill to experiment with diverse personas and sketch scenarios, reinforcing his reputation as a dynamic and imaginative performer. By 1964, Hill expanded his range even further with a surprising turn in classical theatre. That year, he portrayed Nick Bottom in a television adaptation of Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. The all-star production featured several esteemed actors, giving Hill a chance to prove his dramatic chops while still embracing comedy. As Bottom, a naturally humorous character, Hill was able to merge his comedic instincts with traditional stagecraft, revealing new layers of depth in his performance abilities. Between 1964 and 1966, Hill returned to radio with a program called Benny Hill Time on the BBC Radio Light program. This show spanned 3 series and stood out for its topical and satirical humor. Hill had a keen eye for current events and trends, which he cleverly wove into his skits. A standout episode from March 1964 parodied James Bond in From Moscow with Love, underscoring Hill's flair for spoofing pop culture. His comedic takes on the Beatles and other prominent figures of the time only added to his appeal. In Benny Hill Time, Hill brought a cast of recurring characters to life, including fan favorites Harry Hill and Fred Scuttle. These characters became signature parts of his comedic world. Harry Hill embodied the clumsy everyman, while Fred Scuttle was known for his exaggerated mannerisms and peculiar speech. Through these personas, Hill explored a broad spectrum of comedic themes and archetypes, further solidifying his legacy as a versatile entertainer. These characters not only highlighted Hill's range as a performer but also endeared him to a broad audience by providing recurring figures that listeners could anticipate and enjoy. Benny Hill faced numerous challenges in his early career. Despite his talent and ambition, Hill struggled to gain a strong foothold on stage, where his performances received mixed reviews. Despite his talent and ambition, Hill struggled to gain a strong foothold on stage, where his performances received mixed reviews. The Benny Hill Show. Benny Hill's journey through the world of entertainment began with the radio, a dominant medium of its time that captivated audiences across Britain. However, his early success on the airwaves was far from smooth. Hill's radio career was marked by a series of highs and lows. Some of his shows struck a chord with listeners, while others failed to leave a lasting impression. Despite the inconsistency, this formative period proved essential in helping Hill refine his comedic instincts. It was during these years of trial and error that he developed a resilient spirit and honed a comedic style that blended sharp wit with a flair for the absurd. But it wasn't until he transitioned to television that Benny Hill truly found his footing and fame. On January 15, 1955, The Benny Hill Show premiered on the BBC, marking the beginning of a legendary television career that would span decades. From the outset, the show distinguished itself with a unique format inspired by the vibrant tradition of British music hall entertainment. It combined live stage sketches with pre-recorded segments, a blend that gave Hill ample room to flex his creative muscles. His brand of humor, which leaned heavily on slapstick, double entendres, parody, and visual gags, quickly endeared him to a wide range of viewers. Hill's comedic world came to life thanks in large part to his recurring collaborators. During the BBC years, a rotating cast of talented performers helped bring his sketches to life. Patricia Hayes, Jeremy Hawke, Peter Vernon, Ronnie Brody, and co-writer Dave Freeman were pivotal figures during this time. Freeman, in particular, played a major role in shaping Hill's material throughout the 1950s and into the early 1960s. One of the most beloved figures from this period was Jackie Wright, a diminutive, bald-headed actor who became a fan favorite thanks to his frequent appearances as the target of Hill's infamous head-slapping routines. Wright's stoic reactions and impeccable timing made him the perfect straight man in Hill's exaggerated comedy. Although Hill remained primarily with the BBC until 1968, he briefly experimented with other networks, including ITV and ATV, between 1957 and 1960 and again in 1967. These short departures allowed him to explore different creative approaches and reach new audiences, further refining his comedic identity. A significant turning point in Hill's career came in 1969 when The Benny Hill Show moved from the BBC to Thames Television. This shift heralded a new era for the program and significantly boosted its popularity. Rather than airing weekly, the show adopted a format of one-hour specials, providing Hill with more flexibility and time to develop complex sketches and musical numbers. These longer specials allowed for more elaborate production values and gave Hill the opportunity to further expand his comedic range. Under Thames Television, the show gained international acclaim, eventually being broadcast in over 140 countries. Hill's combination of physical humor and universal comedic themes translated across language barriers, turning him into a global comedic icon. His keen abilities as a writer, performer, and impressionist were key to the show's continued success. Hill's sketches often featured him adopting a variety of characters, from hapless everymen to pompous authority figures, each brought to life with his signature blend of satire and slapstick. Although Hill was the main creative force behind the series, he occasionally sourced material from other writers. In keeping with the norms of the time, these contributions were rarely acknowledged with on-screen credit. One notable example involves Cherry Gilliam, an actress and regular cast member, who reportedly sold Hill a sketch idea in 1976. Her fat lady concept was later featured in the January 1977 broadcast, and Hill even wrote to her from Spain to inform her that her idea would be used. A hallmark of The Benny Hill Show was its run-off chase sequence, an iconic gag that usually wrapped up each episode with a burst of frenetic, visual comedy. This sequence often featured Hill and a group of cast members engaged in a madcap chase across various settings. The scenes were filmed using a technique called undercranking, which involves shooting at a slower frame rate and playing the footage back at normal speed to create a sped-up, exaggerated motion. This technique amplified the absurdity of the scenes and highlighted Hill's talent for visual humor. Recurring characters in these chases often included a mix of police officers, grannies, vicars, and scantily clad women, contributing to the comedic chaos. The repetition and escalating absurdity of the chase made it a fan favorite and a defining feature of the show's style.